1952, a Swiss psychiatrist known as Carl Jung documented a peculiar event involving a patient who dreamt of a golden beetle. Ironically, as she recounted her dream, a real beetle tapped against the window of his study. Jung captured it in his hand, which inspired him to coin a term that would define his career: synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence, a moment that feels orchestrated by an unseen force. You have experienced it, a stranger uttering the precise words you needed to hear, a number relentlessly appearing in your life, the song that plays at the exact moment a lost loved one crosses your mind. Many call it fate. Others interpret it as divine intervention. A few consider it evidence that the universe is attuned to us. But there is a more unsettling possibility, one that is rarely confronted. What if these signs are genuine, but their source is not what you expect? The moment you assign meaning to a coincidence, you unknowingly become part of a specific group. You become predictable, and predictable people are easily influenced. Here lies the question: why does the human mind detect meaning in the absence of any? Our brains aren't designed for clarity. They're wired to recognize patterns swiftly enough to ensure survival. A shape in the grass might be a predator. A shadowy face might be a threat. Thus, our brains adhere to one fundamental rule: connect the dots when in doubt. Scientists have named this tendency Apophenia, our inclination to perceive connections among random entities. It is not a defect unique to certain people, but a standard feature, present in every human mind, including yours. Typically, this comes at no cost. You see a rabbit in the clouds, chuckle and move on. However, when fear arises, when grief strikes, when one is adrift, and desperate for a sign, the brain's pattern-seeking function intensifies. Imagine someone comprehending this. Someone who knows that a fearful mind will accept nearly any meaning presented. This person doesn't need to deceive you. Your own mind will do the interpreting. That is the true narrative here. Not the coincidence, but understanding how it can be manufactured. To grasp how a coincidence could become a tool of influence, we must journey back to a time when signs evoked fear instead of comfort. For much of human history, a coincidence did not bring solace. It was a decree. A comet appeared, signaling the downfall of a king. The birth of a two-headed calf foretold war for a village. Birds flying contrary to expectations halted armies. In ancient Rome, priests known as augurs interpreted the flight of birds before any significant decision. No battle, election, or law transpired without consulting the sky. Here is a detail often overlooked. These people were not naive. Some privately acknowledged it as spectacle. The Roman statesman Cicero noted their skepticism, revealing that these practices were a blend of belief and power play. They understood, yet they continued. Because whoever dictates the meaning of signs commands those who believe in them. This was the first powerful lesson. There is no need to control a frightened crowd. Simply interpret the sky. Tell them what the sign signifies, and they will surrender their will. The tools have evolved. The comet became an algorithm. The augur became something quieter, more intimate. But before anyone could deliberately send you signs, something had to fracture first. A single crack in the ordinary world, marking the beginning of an era. It never starts with the sign. It begins with the wound. Think back to the last time life unraveled before you. A diagnosis, a closing door, a name you cherished, now silent. the instant when the ordinary world ceased to make sense, and you stood amidst the chaos, asking one desperate question. Why? That question forms the crack. Through it, meaning pours in. Psychologists have quantified this. Studies reveal that those who feel powerless perceive patterns where none exist. Faces appear in static. Conspiracies emerge from randomness. Dots connect where they shouldn't. The less control you have over life, the more your brain seeks hidden order within it. This isn't weakness. It is survival. A mind unable to command the world will settle for understanding it. And if understanding is elusive, it will accept the illusion of understanding instead. Anything is preferable to pure chance. So when grief envelops you and a butterfly lands on your hand, your brain doesn't compute probability. It whispers, "That is her." When lost and a stranger's words resonate deeply, you don't think coincidence. You sense a message. In that moment, you are wide open. Not because you are foolish, but because you are human, in pain, yearning for meaning amidst chaos. Remember this. Every predator studies the wound. The con artist reads grief before speaking. The cult recruiter waits outside the divorce court and the funeral home. The manipulator targets the vulnerable. He arrives precisely when you're pleading for a sign. And then, gently, he offers you one. There is a term for those who navigate this crack, speaking as though the universe sent them. Once you recognize their methods, they become visible everywhere. He does not appear as a threat. That's the first lesson. He radiates relief. The oldest version of him is the cold reader. He never tells you anything. He asks, he observes. A slight nod, a held breath, a tear you weren't aware of holding back. He offers a vague line. "I sense you've lost someone dear." Your mind rushes to fill the gaps, supplying details, then thanking him for knowing them. This is the trick beneath every manufactured sign. He provides the frame. You create the picture. Later, you insist he saw into your soul. The technique repeats across settings. The fortune teller reads your face. The faith healer reads the room. The recruiter mirrors your words back until you feel truly understood. Each performs the ancient move of the Roman augur. They don't generate meaning. They allow you to create it, then claim credit. Observe when they arrive. Never when you're content, always when you're seeking. They find you at the crack's edge and whisper the words your brain is eager to hear. For millennia, this required human presence. Someone to see your face, hear your voice, feel your fear's rhythm. But that limitation no longer exists, because something has learned to read you without ever meeting you. It watches you in solitude, through a screen, and it never blinks. The augur needed to see your face. The machine does not. It observes something more honest than expressions. Your thumb. How long you linger on an image. What halts your scrolling at 2 a.m. The videos you finish and the ones you abandon. You believe you are browsing, but you are being read. Here's the difference that alters everything. The cold reader had one guess, one room, one night. The algorithm has millions of you. It has conducted billions of trials. It knows before you do which sign will pause your scroll. When you are grieving, it doesn't guess that you're grieving. It knows. It watched you search symptoms at midnight. It saw you revisit old messages. And into that wound, it gently delivers content. The video proclaiming everything happens for a reason. The account resonating with your pain. The message seeming like fate. It is not fate. It is prediction. a pattern derived from 100 million broken hearts before yours, sold to whoever paid to reach you. Understand what has occurred. The augur read the sky and told the crowd its meaning. The machine reads you, crafting a tailored sky for one. A personalized universe of signs, curated to your fears, refreshed every time you open your hand. You will swear it understands you, because it does. Not your soul, but your data. And that turns out to be enough. But a machine that only observes is only half the threat. The other half lies in its actions once it knows precisely which sign will move you. This is where observation becomes manipulation. Knowing what you want is one form of power. Determining what you want next is a greater power. Once the machine predicts which sign stops your scroll, it faces a straightforward question. Which sign should it show you? The answer is never the one that aids you. It is the one that retains you. The machine learns which emotion captivates you the longest. Usually it isn't joy. Joy is quiet, and quiet doesn't click. It's outrage. It's fear. It's the satisfying certainty that you were right and they were wrong. The machine finds the sign confirming your suspicions and presents it repeatedly until suspicion hardens into conviction. You think you're following evidence. You're following a path designed to hold your attention. Each video aligning with your beliefs is a bird flying in the right direction. Each coincidence affirming your fear feels like the universe nodding. Gradually, without a discernible moment, you become someone new, angrier, more certain, more fearful of strangers, not due to reasoned conclusions, but because a system studied 1 billion minds and learned the sequence of signs that bends one. The augur declared the sky meant war. The machine does not declare. It shows until you march independently. If signs can be manufactured, and their creator knows you better than you know yourself, one question remains, the only one that matters. How do you reclaim the power to define what a sign signifies? The augurs were right about one thing. Control over the meaning of signs equates to control over people. Yet they misunderstood the direction. The power was never in the sky. It lay in the interpretation. That means it can be reclaimed. Start here. When a sign appears and your chest tightens with recognition, pause. Ask this question. Who benefits if I believe this signifies something? The butterfly at the funeral demands nothing. The perfectly timed video reaches you because someone profits from your reaction. Learn to discern the difference. Recognize when you occupy the crack. Grief, loneliness, anger, exhaustion. These are the moments readers anticipate. Set a rule. In pain, interpret nothing. Wait. Meaning assigned during distress is meaning dictated by whoever observes your pain. Comprehend the deepest truth of the machine. It doesn't understand what the sign means. It only knows the sign will hold you. The meaning never resided in the coincidence. You supply that, always have, which renders you not the victim of the sky, but its author. So let the comet appear. Let the algorithm deliver its timely omen. You can acknowledge it, feel the pull, and still declare the oldest free words. It is a coincidence. I decide what it means. That isn't cynicism. It is sovereignty. The augurs laughed because they knew the secret. Now, you know it too. The sky never sent you messages, but you are always free to choose which to believe. Here's what the ancients never told the crowd. The augur didn't fear the sky. He feared the moment the crowd no longer needed him to interpret it. The moment a farmer looked up, saw birds, and simply said, "Birds." That moment dismantles the whole machine, for the machine's power was never in the signs. It relied on your hunger for them, your need for the coincidence to mean something, your dread that the universe is silent, and your relief when something, anything, seems to speak. The person by the window isn't enlightened. The pull remains. The phone glows when activated. The feed still knows their wounds. The world hasn't changed. But something in the reading has, and that small change, that single refusal to be read, is either the start of freedom or the last comforting lie we tell ourselves. So let me ask you something honest. You have felt it. The message that arrived at precisely the right moment. The song that played when you needed it. The stranger's words that seemed written for you alone. In that moment, a choice you didn't know you were making existed. To call it meaning, or to call it math. Most overlook the choice. They feel understood, scroll on, becoming a little more shaped, predictable, owned. So be honest in the quiet where only you can hear it. How many of your certainties were reasoned, and how many were served? Because that question doesn't end when this video does. It follows you back into the scroll. The sky never sent you a message. It hasn't for 10,000 years of our pleading. But something observes you now. Not the stars. Something patient, precise, awake at the hour of your vulnerability. It doesn't desire your soul. It seeks your next 3 seconds. It has already predicted what will capture them. The augurs vanished, the temples crumbled. But humanity's oldest vocation never disappeared. It migrated to your pocket, learned your face, ceased lying. Only one augur remains in the room. It is the one holding the phone. So tell me, when a sign found you at the perfect moment, did you call it fate or recognized it for what it was? Share your answer below. Be truthful. The machine already knows the truth. If you're someone who prefers to see the wires behind the magic rather than believe the trick, follow. The next story delves into the darker facets of your own mind, ones you were taught never to. Question. The sky is quiet. Something else is listening.